it's actually Greek mythology, and it's a form of heaven. It's not actually perfect heaven. It's where fallen soldiers go when they're, in other words, to be an honorable soldier, if you die in battle, your reward is you get to go to Elysium. So you can only go to this version of heaven by dying in battle. It's not exactly the same as heaven. That's the real mythological history in the name, right? So as a version of heaven, there's these gated communities in Johannesburg that have, like, sometimes they have sort of cheesy names. And I wanted to give it some sort of lame, kind of semi-misused name that seems like it would come from mythology. And so Elysium, the gated community, makes total sense. Like, there probably are gated communities called Elysium. And so that's the name. It's like, let's call the space station Elysium. Jody's character was originally, I never wrote her character to be a woman. And I was thinking of all these different guys that could play the role. And then I kind of like, I just woke up one morning and I was like, what if it was a woman? And then I started making a list with my producer. And when I saw Jody's name, I was like, my God, that would be really cool. And I thought she would never do it. And then I contacted her and she actually seemed game. And then I met her and she was totally willing to do it, which was incredible. And then, you know, in terms of Matt, it was a case of, initially I didn't want any A-list massive stars. I wanted to make the film smaller. And then I realized that the way that I was directing it, it kind of had this like more epic, it had a bigger feel than District 9. It had a much more, the scope was greater and the vista that it kind of created was greater. And I thought you could have a really well-known A-list star in the movie in a positive way. It's not there's no vehicle element to it. It's like they actually make it an event and they kind of amplify it in this epic kind of sense. So then it was the same thing. I went through a list of potential people, and then when I saw Matt, I was like, that guy should be in it. And I went and met him, and I liked him a hell of a lot the first time that I met him. I had no idea what to expect. I didn't know if he was going to be trouble and he was awesome. And so then the thing that both of them bring is they bring this kind of level of professionalism mixed with a crazy level of talent. And that combined, you know, those two elements combined gives you a situation where, like, it takes a lot of pressure off of me. Sometimes it does require thinking out of the box, and I do feel like I don't do that enough, where it's like you can really get people that are specialized in certain areas to help solve problems for you in very interesting, unique ways. But for me, everything always has to come down to one thing. And the one thing is, if you're sitting in the movie theater and you're watching the film, it doesn't matter what decisions got made leading to that point. Nothing matters. It's just when you're sitting there, what are you watching? And is it worth anything? And that's where my mind goes. It's like the suit that Matt's wearing when I'm sitting there, do I believe it? You know, does it make sense to me? And sometimes you need the right groups to help you get there, but that goal has to be in mind.